ending with the EXP lane show.
This is going to be a show of mechanics. Whenever Cho is put in the EXP lane, there's two ways that you can play about it. If you're using a tank emblem, then it's pretty evident that your job is just to control the lane and then try to rotate as fast as you can, create some kind of setup. If the Cho uses any other emblems, like an assassin emblem, then it's going to show that it is going to be a split push Cho where he has very, very high 1v1 kill potential, but also he has a lot of damage putting on this turret. So I do want to see what kind of Cho is this going to be.
I personally think this is most likely going to be a tankier Cho, and yes, considering that he has concussive blast, it's going to be a tank Cho played by R7. And the reason I think that is because Team Indonesia only have the Franco in terms of tanks. The rest of them are really squishy damage dealers. If you build a damage Cho, that's basically the same thing. You are setting yourself up to be bursted down by big team fight AoEs.
Yeah, right now for the side of Singapore as well as Indonesia, if we take anything from the earlier games, looking at this mid lane setup with the Kagura as well as the Sicilian, they're going to play a little bit slower. We really have to see Albert get his level 4 first. Then we have to see which lane that he's going to prioritize over. Indonesia right now, they have two people going on to the goal lane, making sure that they will win no matter what.
Yep, R7 going to be taking a little bit of damage here, but he zones out Sayla and Reminiscent from Albert. He will be able to secure this orange buff. Team Singapore just going to make a little bit of damage to Team Indonesia by taking away one of their jungle camps. But right now, not too much going to be happening across the map.
Yeah, we can see that it's going to be a 2v2 matchup. Adamir actually taking a lot of damage from CW, and they have to be careful. Vin almost getting the hook onto Adamir. Very, very good thing that it happened on Dominion instead.
This gold lane is going to be a very notable point of contention for both these teams because Adamir and CW are basically the win conditions for their respective sides.
Yeah, Albert right now is a level 4. JPL is there. We do have to see whether he will force this out or not. But Reminiscent over there making sure that Albert does not push his luck, not trying to get a kill over for the side of Indonesia.
What is interesting to note is that Sayla here on this Kagura has elected to go for Execute as his battle thrill. So he's looking to try and take out a single member of Team Indonesia from the team fight as quickly as possible. But now he could be in a lot of trouble as R7 sets up the way of the dragon, giving first blood over the sands.
I was about to say it's interesting that Singapore, Soul is opting to actually sacrifice his own minion, giving it over to Sayla to make sure that he gets the level 4 quickly. But look at this. They're going on to Vin. Vin took a lot of damage, but he's escaping a lot of damage. And right now, Albert goes in. He already has the Quad Shadow. He got the first kill. Vin is going to go out of the game as well. But looking at Team Indonesia, they're really trying to force out this fight. But Sayla, double kill, and double kill as well for the Karina. Singapore just won that team fight over a beautiful yin-yang overturn.
A massive turnaround by Team Singapore as Team Indonesia made it bitten off a bit more than they could chew. They stuck around way longer than they should have for that fight because they thought that they outnumbered their opponents and would be able to slowly whittle them down. But the yin-yang overturn coming out from Sayla was able to land on multiple members because they were all grouped up to get the kill, and that turned things around massively for Team Singapore.
That was actually very beautiful, and that shows it's a good thing in that situation to have the Execute. Like, you already use your yin-yang overturn, and then it's like, okay, it's 5% HP, 10% HP. Don't worry, guys. I got this. He secured the double kill for himself. Right now, looking at the itemization, he is on the way trying to finish off his Clock of Destiny. But looking at Karina, did not opt for a early Molten Essence, which is very interesting to me.
I can certainly understand why you wouldn't go for that at this point because it is a little bit risky to go for a more damage-focused tank item at this point because he knows that Team Indonesia is going to be playing quite aggressively in these next few minutes. And while, yes, a Molten Essence would help out in terms of clearing the wave and dishing out some damage, right now, Reminiscent needs to survive.
Yeah, finally finishing off the first defensive item. Vin is there. He is alone. He has to use his flicker, but the killing spree still going over to Reminiscent. Double kill. He was able to secure on that victory. It looks like, will he be able to survive? And it looks like no. Shutdown will be given over to Albert with the Ogi Shadow kill. But right now he's alone. He has been stunned. And look at the 1-1 Adamir managing to use his ultimate, getting that kill, but R7 pushing back the Alice in, and Sans securing that kill for himself.
A series of back and forth by both these teams, resulting in a slight advantage by Indonesia as they're able to pick off more members of Team Singapore. Trading for Albert, though, is going to be quite worth it at this point. Remanison, he knows that he can be quite strong now that he's built more tanky items, already completing his Radiant Armor. Solop here as well has been able to completely win out his lane, a full level ahead of R7.
Yeah, it looks like Reminiscent is probably looking forward to build a Blade Armor to make sure that CW cannot do much. And Vin, again, is alone. He's going up against 4, but Albert managing to actually steal the turtle away. Vin having to sacrifice his own health for that steal.
Albert going to be very effectively identifying that opportunity there. He knows that the Fatal Links has already been used on top of Vin, and there's no way they're going to be able to save him. So making use of that distraction to come in and retreat the turtle himself, because he knows that Reminiscent is not going to be fully focused on him.
And right now we can see Soul going on to R7. R7 is just taking all of that damage, not really responding much. But Adamir in the bottom side of the map managing to get tons off of that. And CW, his HP is actually very, very low.
Yeah, right now Team Singapore doing a very good job here in these first few minutes of the game. Already 9 kills to only 5 on the side of Team Indonesia. And they have a 1.5k net worth lead. Certainly not a big one by any means, but definitely the furthest that any team has been able to pull out against Team Indonesia so far.
And we have to point out that right now Reminiscent is doing much, much better with a 5-1-3 score. And JPL 0-2-7, very, very impressive on his own. And right now, Singapore, they're really looking to get this turret, but R7 and Vin is there looking to actually catch someone. We can see if they're able to get it.
Yep, they're waiting in the bush right now, but they have to be very wary. Reminiscent has already completed his Blade Armor, specifically to counteract CW. So they're not really in a state where they can take fights right now. They will wisely give the tower away without a fight. But Team Singapore, this is definitely go time for them. This is the opportunity they have been waiting for to be able to start taking some advantage for themselves.
Yeah, and right now we're going to have a technical pause. There are some issue in this game. But Indonesia going up against Singapore, we have to state that Singapore is doing so well. This might be a game where Singapore might be able to get a win. But if Singapore is able to win against Indonesia and it becomes a 1-1 score, it really does. We really do have to see Singapore going up against Vietnam what the score is. Because if Singapore is able to win 2-0, then they're going to have the same score as Indonesia.
And that's exactly what they're going to be looking for here. But what those fans in Vietnam are going to be hoping for here is that Team Indonesia can take this win, because that way they still have a chance of moving on to the semi-finals. So I think a lot of us are going to be watching this series with bated breath. We are waiting to see exactly what the results are. For those of you who may not know, if they do end up having the same score, I do believe there's going to be a tiebreaker game, correct?
Yes, correct. Tomorrow. It's not going to be happening today, but it's going to be happening tomorrow. But right now, we're going to refocus on this game. Indonesia going up against Singapore. Right now, Singapore, they have a very clear lead. Indonesia, it doesn't matter that they are looking like they are losing this game, because we have to understand that in Mobile Legends, especially when it reaches the 20-minute mark, 1 mistake equals to 10 mistakes, because at that point when you die, the kill timer or the death timer is going to be so long that a lot can be secured in the time that they manage to get a victory. So during the 20-minute mark, if Indonesia is really in a hard spot, they just have to stall and then get a massive team fight win around 20 minutes, and then from there just get back to the game.
Personally, though, I don't really feel like Team Indonesia are going to be the type of team that's gonna be put in that sort of situation. Yes, they are behind right now, but we've already seen their ability to make really calm and disciplined decisions under pressure, identify opportunities to regain advantage from a position where they should be behind. So it's going to be up to Team Singapore to ensure that they are able to maintain the same degree of gameplay so that they can secure this victory. Because as we highlighted here in Group B, every single victory is that much more impactful.
Singapore, this is the furthest that they have ever pushed Indonesia, so they are looking at a potential win. And if they do, this is going to be a good statement for everyone watching in Singapore, cheering for their own country, trying to make sure that they bring home a medal. But again, Indonesia, we know how passionate they are, especially with Mobile Legends. Just like you said, they're not going to put themselves in a situation where they have to do that, where they have to wait for the 20-minute mark, 21-minute mark, the 25-minute mark. They will find a situation, especially because they have the Franco. It's just about a matter of time when the Iron Hook is going to connect. And once the Iron Hook connects, it's going to cause a chain reaction where Indonesia will start getting a lot of advantage on the map again.
Basically, it's gonna come down to which team ends up making more mistakes at this point, because Team Singapore have already put themselves in a very comfortable position. But that doesn't mean that they can let down their guard just yet, because as we highlighted, Team Indonesia, they will snatch on every single little opportunity they can find. So it's gonna take a really flawless game from Team Singapore to push this forward. But they've already shown they have the potential to come out on top. So I'm very excited for the potential of this team as we now move on. I believe the pause is about to finish and we're going to be returning to the land of dawn.
And again, right now it is 8 minutes in the game. JPL as well, going into the team fight phase. He's going to be very, very strong with that Fatal Link. We just have to see who is going to execute the team fight initiation better. JPL is going for Vin, and Vin is not going to be pulled over, and JPL is actually getting punished quite a bit here.
Yeah, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Soul tries to jump into the back line, but GW is able to get out of there, so that's going to be an unsuccessful engagement coming out of Team Singapore. A really good response by Vin as he pops the Bloody Hunt at the moment the Fatal Links is activated, so that the Suppress is able to cancel out the ultimate and allow him to walk away scot-free.
Yeah, right now, again, Singapore is taking care of the map. I kind of feel like Albert has to look for a farm somewhere else because he cannot be put in a position where he is losing in terms of itemization, in terms of damage, because it's going to be very, very unfortunate as a jungler if he cannot execute the backline well. So no matter what, he has to look to the side lane to try and get as much minions as he can just to have that advantage. Like, we already seen he has his Blade of Despair. Maybe up for one more damage, perhaps a Hunter Strike to just make sure he can get that kill.
One of the strengths of Hayabusa, though, is that he is able to farm these side lanes without too much danger to himself, simply because of how much escape he has built into his kit. Because of that, Indonesia can just buy time, because CW, Sans, and Albert will all eventually come online. Even though they're behind, it's only by about 3,000 gold at this point.
Indonesia right now is looking for a situation where they can pick someone off, because right now R7 as well as Vin, both of them have that potential. But right now Vin, 0-4 and 0, he's being caught out more often than not. So Singapore has been playing very well around this Franco pick. I have to say, I'm actually pretty surprised. I thought that Vin was going to have a clear-cut advantage, especially once he reached level 4.
Well, what's important is to learn from experience. Team Singapore, they already had to deal with the Franco. Now they know, okay, this is a dangerous hero. We're not going to let it through. As Fatal Link's going to be dodged again by the Shinpo from R7, which means that Team Singapore, again, not able to get an engagement.
That was actually very, very impressive. Like, I was already expecting for him to get caught, but Vin over there with the conceal is looking for a proper target. JPL had to use his flicker, but look at this. Team Singapore wants to force this initiation, but but the Karina is going to be the first one getting pushed down, and so the damage from the Ogi Shadow Kill is enough to push him down. JPL with very, very minimum HP. Singapore, they have to go back. Look at the damage onto Sayla. Looks like Albert, he is able to farm up to make sure the damage coming out from this Hayabusa is scary.
Luckily for Team Singapore, Albert did not have Ogi Shadow Kill available, or he would have been able to pick up an easy double kill to just finish off that fight. But that was an incredible turnaround by Team Indonesia. A small mistake from Singapore as Soul jumps in to start the fight. Remanison follows him up, and JPL somehow not being able to save his team. R7 gets the perfect way of the dragon right into the tower onto not Soul, but Remanison, somehow identifying the enemy jungle within all that chaos and winning the fight for his team.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, right now, Indonesia, they're in the lead. Hayabusa has a higher goal lead compared to Karina. And right now, JPL is, again, looking for opportunities, looking for spaces where he can initiate onto Indonesia. But look at that hook.
They already be able to pick one off, and it's Remanison getting kicked with the way of the dragon, but he is still fine for now. Vin out of position. They want this kill. Albert jumps in the backline, gets it with Yogi Shadow Kill. Enemy jungler already taken out of the equation, but they get the trade onto Vin as well. Soul gets his immortality popped, and the double kill going over to Albert in the backline, as now only 2 members of Singapore are surviving against 4 members of Indonesia, which are now pushing down the mid lane with their Lord. This inhibitor not going to stand for long.
Indonesia, the way that the transition is so good. JPL trying to get a catch onto R7. Look at Sayla trying to kill off Sands, but the damage coming in from Albert secures this victory. Indonesia is going to win against Singapore a clean 2-0.
That was so sudden, so surgical coming out of Team Indonesia. What even happened there?
This is why I say they're like the masters of transition, because that was so seamless. It's like, oh, were we losing? It's like, so do we want to win now? It's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then all of a sudden, a lot of damage has been pushed through. Albert just suddenly went crazy, and then it just ended the game. That's why I say, like, the way that the transition from kinda not winning to dominating is so seamless. Like, you always question, like, how?
And it just happened so quickly. A 2-0 victory. Again, the Team Indonesia has confirmed that they will be moving on to the semifinals tomorrow.